Hey Athena, are you real?
Anything is real if you believe hard enough.
Yeah. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to do another Hong Kong movie. As a Hong Konger and a film lover, I have to watch and review as many Hong Kong movies as possible, okay? I'm going to do that. And today I am going to be talking about 1987 Xin Lü Yao Wan, or a Chinese ghost story, directed by Cheng Xiudong and produced by Choi Huk, aka Choi Hark, the same guy who directed The Blade, or Do, released in 1995, which I reviewed earlier. So this is a Chinese ghost story. Fun fact: I am making a short film right now, and I've been writing a script for my short film for about 3 months now already, and I think it's finally completed, at the stage of completion. And the short film I'm writing also involves a female demon, and okay, come on. And the short film that I'm working on right now also involves a female demon. So, of course, it would be a great time. What better time than it is now to watch and review one of the most popular female demon related movies ever. This one, a Chinese ghost story. And this is actually not original when it comes to writing. This is actually based off of a 1960 movie produced by Run Run Shaw, which is also called Xin Le Yao Wan, which basically means female, ghost, strange. I can't even explain it. I kind of get what it means, but these are words that come together, and individually they don't necessarily mean anything. But this movie, 1987 Xin Le Yao Wan, is actually based off of 1960 Xin Le Yao Wan, which is actually based off of one of the most important pieces of literature in Chinese history, and that is Liu Zai, written by Po Chongling during the 1740s, which is basically the Qing dynasty. And it is basically not really a novel, but a collection of short stories that are strange, supernatural, and they're not necessarily like folklore. They're just made up, and people clearly know that. So anyways, we ended up in 1987's A Chinese Ghost Story, which apparently became really successful. So much so that they had to make a second and the third one, just milking it. And on top of that, in the year 2003, there is this Singaporean, Taiwanese, Hong Kong, Chinese TV show based on the same story. And then in the year 2011, China released a movie that is actually based on the same story as well. They base so many movies on the same story. Why? Why? People are running out of ideas. But the most popular out of all these adaptations of the same goddamn story has got to be 1987's Hong Kong version of A Chinese Ghost Story. And, people are saying that this is the best movie adaptation of one of the short stories of Liu Zai ever. If that's true, then I'm kind of disappointed, because this movie is, not really that good. It's not my cup of tea. And I understand its significance, but it's just not really all that enjoyable. So we have the main character, played by Leslie Zheng, legendary actor and singer Leslie Zheng, Zheng Guoqing. And he plays Ning Choi Sun, who is the main character, who is very weak, meek, goofy, vulnerable, and a really good guy, really nice, not into sex, not at all. And then we have the girl, who is called Xiu Xin, and she is a ghost, but the main character doesn't really know until at the end of the movie. And then we have a Taoist priest who knows that the girl is a ghost, and there are also other ghosts in the forests, and the priest wants to kill them all because ghosts are bad. And essentially we have the MC, the main character, falling in love with the ghost, realizing that the ghost is actually a pretty good girl as well, realizing that the ghost has a very terrible and harsh family, wanting to rescue Xiu Xin away from her family, not knowing that she is a ghost, meanwhile trying to avoid the Taoist priest. Now, that being said, this is not a horror movie. Don't go into this movie thinking that it's horror, and I didn't do that as well. I know that this movie is going to be kind of a rom-com, and yeah, it's actually a rom-com horror martial arts movie. And it's a really impressive mix of genres, and that is one of the pros of this movie. And that is, I don't see a lot of movies. Actually, this is probably the only movie I've ever seen in my entire life where martial arts, rom-com, which is romance and comedy, and horror mixed into one movie. And also, there are a lot of entertaining scenes in this movie that is gross, funny, weird, and enjoyable. That being said, though, there are also things about this movie that I just didn't enjoy. Right off the bat, this movie is dubbed. Like, they filmed this movie, and then they had the actors themselves voice over the characters, and all the other sound effects are all dubbed, and like footsteps and shouts, and it just sounds bad. And the blade is also dubbed as well. That is one of the reasons why, on a technical level, I didn't enjoy the blade as much as I hoped I would. And another thing is, yeah, speaking of the sound, some sound effects in this movie is just plain dumb. Like whenever the ghost flies away, whenever Xiu Xin flies away, it's just like like she's I don't know. Ghosts don't sound like that, okay? And then, but I kind of understand why, because they're trying to do this comedic approach as well, especially when the Taoist priest creates a spell and the spell becomes like a blast of gunshots. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. But that's also kind of what makes it funny. It's so over the top, it's so whack, and it's actually kind of funny. But there are also a lot of comedic moments in this movie that just did not land for me, especially for the first few scenes of this movie. It's just so goddamn goofy. When Leslie Jung was running down a hill and he's like, it's goofy, it's... I just don't enjoy it. It's just not the kind of comedy that I like. And then we have the zombie skeletons. There are zombie skeletons in this movie. They just show up and then they just die. I don't see how they are tied to the story at all. They just show up and then they just die. And it's cool while they were on screen because they're stop motion, which is really cool. Stop motion in a rom-com horror martial arts movie, cherry on top. Except it doesn't tie into the story at all. How are the zombie skeletons related to anything? They don't do anything. And yeah, at the end, it's just not that crazy of a movie. It's still predictable. There are still illogical moments, and a lot of the dialogues are just really weird. And there's a singing dance scene in the middle of the movie, and usually a lot of popular commercial Hong Kong movies do that, especially Stephen Chow movies, where in the middle of the movie, for no goddamn reason, the characters would just sing or dance or both. And usually in Stephen Chow movies, it's fine because it's full-on comedy. And from Beijing with Love, Guok Tang Ling, where Stephen Chow basically plays a song on a piano. He's trying to blend in a party and there's a piano, so it makes sense for him to do that. But in this movie, it doesn't make sense when the Taoist priest was alone in the middle of the woods. he just waves his sword around and he just starts singing over this super 80s beat, which makes sense because this movie came out in the 80s. But still, this singing number is so nonsensical, and it's not even in a good way. It's just there and it sticks out like a sore thumb. So yeah, overall, I didn't enjoy this movie all that much. It's just not that good. It's just not that good. The climax is pretty fun. The final act is pretty fun. But overall, I just don't enjoy it that much. I understand how important this movie is to Hong Kong cinema almost, because in the 80s there are a lot of horror comedies, like Mr. Vampire and all that. And in the late 80s, horror comedy is getting more and more tired. It's a boring trend at that point. But a horror rom-com, but martial arts. But yeah, it's still, I still don't enjoy it all that much. So I'm gonna be really generous here. I'm gonna give this movie a strong 7 out of 10. I'm giving 新女幽魂, or A Chinese Ghost Story, a strong 7 out of 10. I like it just as much as I like The Imp. But yeah, I understand that it's a really important movie, but do I care for it? Not exactly. Not really. No. And also, this movie feels more like a Choi Hark movie than a Cheng Xiudong movie, because this movie and The Blade also shares a lot of similarities, in that there's a lot of jump cuts and close-ups, which aren't great ideas when you're making action sequences. It just looks really choppy. But yeah, 7 out of 10. That's it. So, have you watched 新女幽魂, A Chinese Ghost Story? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna take a break from reviewing Hong Kong movies, and for the next couple of months, I will focus on Hong Kong music. And then after that, then I'll continue reviewing Hong Kong movies. And I'm gonna do movies, music, alternately. So, there's that.